Doug, I'm here for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily. Today is December the 8th, Friday, and we're going to be talking football, and lots of football we're going to be talking about for the whole weekend, whatever's coming our way. And you're going to get free picks with every single one of these games we're going to talk about. So that's all good, because with free. Now, what isn't free is a Vegas Pro Insider Daily Inner Circle membership, and there's a good reason why. Because the information in there is so valuable that it makes people lots of money. So that's why it costs something. But it only costs $99 a month. Divide that by 30, and I think you can figure that out how much that costs you a day. It's nothing. Okay, for the most part. It's something, of course, but essentially it's nothing. It's for what you would bet, for example, you bet $100 a game, that's $3. You have to divide, if you buy and you bet 3 games a day, that costs you $1 to get the information for each game. $1. I mean, it's laughable. And what do you get with that? Well, for example, Sean Higgs, unbelievable. #1 at sports capping the last week and the last month. At our site, VPID Inner Circle, you go with their 31-12 of late. Okay, absolutely killing it on his best bets. Kyle Hunter, nobody's better at totals than Kyle Hunter, and he proves it each and every day. He sends his best bet to us, so he's a master. Dennis Macklin, all he does is just consistently roll along making money, and so does Jim Mack. And yours truly, recently 22-12 in the NFL, and I believe a 7-0 run in the NBA, coming off a huge weekend of college football last weekend. So it's all there for you. And the other thing is too, is I know you're betting other games, okay? I absolutely know it. So, and I know all the members are. Okay, so that's why I have other things like Super System, Top Trends, any number of other tools that'll help you make money. So $99 a month, become a Vegas Pro Insiders Daily Inner Circle member. All right, so let's talk some football. We're going to start off with Saturday. We're going to Army-Navy game. Now, on that one, the total fell from 51 down to 46.5, as we talked about the other day, and it's down even further, down to 46. I'm not saying the game can't go under, or excuse me, can't go over, but I don't know why you would bet the over. I guess that's what it comes down to. 10-0 under the last 11 starts. These teams know each other. These teams play these basically very similar type offense. They're mirror images of each other essentially. So I think it just lends itself right in today's world. I think it lends itself to a lower scoring game. So that's where I'm going in that. Now let's talk some NFL. And here we're not gonna usually I kind of jump around a little bit. I'm just gonna just go in, just say the sequential order we had the other day, that more or less the rotation numbers, and we're just gonna go along with that. And so we're gonna start first off with a new game that had line movement, which is the Chicago Bears and Cincinnati Bengals. Now, in this one, the total went from 37 to 38.5 in the last couple of days. And honestly, I can't think of many good reasons as to why. If you look at the total scores of both teams for the season, neither one of them, in terms of offense and defense scoring, comes to 38.5. They're both below that. So it's hard to make a case for that. Nonetheless, I don't really feel strongly either way, so I'm just going to go with a system of mine that supports the over in this case. And that's to take a road team that is scoring 17 points or less, and in their last 2 games has scored 17 or less points. In their next contest, 28-7 over. That's where the Bears fit. That's where I'm going to lean here with the over. Now, the other day we talked about Minnesota and Carolina. On that one, Minnesota became an increasingly larger favorite, and the total went down from 42 down to 41. Essentially, nothing has changed. Not even essentially, nothing has changed. In either case, Minnesota is still a 2.5-point favorite. At first I thought about, and I might regret this, kind of like the Florida pick that I had the other day, but I actually liked Minnesota, but the thing that's kind of caught my eye lately, especially watching the game last night on Thursday with Atlanta and New Orleans, is that in all these games with good teams playing each other, what's happening is the home team keeps winning. So from that standpoint, you got a home underdog here. I'm going to lean with Carolina. It's certainly, I'm not going to bet it, I can tell you that. But I would lean with Carolina in that, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know, I'll just be another one that I changed my mind on that I shouldn't have on this. But I do like the under. I think this is going to be a rock'em sock'em football game, so I got no problem backing the under on that one. San Francisco is at Houston. As mentioned the other day, the Houston went from -1 to -3. They're slightly back to 2.5 on this one. The other news is the total has gone up from 40, I think from 42 to 43. That's what it is. 43 to 44.5 on this one. I liked Houston before, and so I still do, and you get more value in liking Houston at this point down to 2.5, so you don't have to pay for the hook on the presumption that they cover. The over, I like the over here. All of my scoring models on the game, they're all overs on this one, and they're well above. I shouldn't say well above. They're above 44.5. I can tell you that. So I like Houston, and I like the over in that game. Next up, let's see here. The Chargers are hosting Washington. The Chargers fell from -7 to -6. That one has not moved one iota on this one. Wagering America is very satisfied, and to be perfectly honest, I'm very satisfied to take the Chargers at -6. I know Kirk Cousins is very capable of having a big performance. I just think that the pass rush that the Chargers can can develop against a still weakened Washington offensive line, I think that's the difference. So I will take Washington, or excuse me, I'll take the Chargers in that game. Next up, game of the week. Well, not really, not even close. The New York Jets and the Denver Broncos. Denver, wow, what a sad state of affairs. Went from a 1-point favorite to a +1 underdog at home, and that's exactly where they have stayed. Now, I do know a lot of wise guys are on the Jets pretty decidedly, and so is the betting public at 83% in this case, but I'm going to go contrarian here. I just, I wish I had a really good explanation for you. I just have the sense they're going to overcome this horrendous slump. I'm not saying they're going to play well, referring to Denver. I just think they're going to win the game. Okay, there's nothing magical here. There's no great information. I just think that's just what's going to happen. Because if it's going to happen at home. And so I think this is the place it'll be. Now, a much better game, and what should be essentially the game of the week, is Philadelphia and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams went from -1 up to 2.5. They've come back slightly back to -2. And the total, though, in the last couple of days has slid from 51 down to 48.5. Now, on the side, I know I just said that liking the home teams on this one, but I didn't like the home team in this one to begin with. So, and I was on Carolina and Minnesota. It's kind of up in the air on that one a little bit. I am not up in the air on this one. I like Philadelphia to win the game. They essentially outplayed Seattle at Seattle, so it's not like they played poorly and were beaten. They had a couple turnovers that made the difference in the game. So that's the case. So from that standpoint, I think they're going to rebound. I like the Rams a lot. I just think they're going to rebound. I don't like, though, the total going down to 48.5. These are two high-scoring teams. Yes, they're certainly improved defensively as the year has gone along. But one thing about Philadelphia, they're 6-0 over after a loss by 14 or more points. I'm going to take the over along with Philly. Now, Dallas and the New York Giants, that's another game of interest. And the money key just keeps flowing towards the New York Giants. They opened up at -6, went down to -5, and now they're down to 3.5. Okay, I said minus, I meant plus. The New York Giants are the underdog. So in this game, though, you know what? As crazy as it sounds, I think it's the right side. Even dropping, this far, I just think, as I mentioned, on Wednesday or Tuesday, Tuesday it was. This is the perfect storm situation to me for the Giants, because they are they fired their coach, so some new freshness in the locker room. Especially with some of the problems that were going on. Eli Manning is back to playing quarterback, so he'll be pumped up. And it's a game against Dallas, which all Giants fans always love when the Cowboys come to town. So I think it's just kind of a perfect storm. So I like the Giants in this one. Also, we have, Monday night? We have the Pittsburgh and Baltimore. That game went from Pittsburgh was a -6-point favorite, went down to 4.5 against Baltimore. Now, the Ravens certainly are improved. Looks like they're going to be in the postseason. So they're kind of gathering some momentum. Okay, in this one though with Pittsburgh, this is nothing to do with let's say handicapping information. We all know and we saw what happened to Ryan Shazier last week on Monday night. This has to be a tough week for the Steelers, and I really believe that from the team standpoint, this game is going to be for Ryan Shazier. I really believe that, and so with that, I have no problem taking the Steelers. They're going to be at home. I think that they are just going to be extremely focused. They're going to be really ready to go, and I think they're going to win one for one of their comrades. That's what I think about that particular game. Finally, let's wrap this baby up with the New England Patriots visiting Miami on Monday night. New England has gone from -12 down to, they went down to 11, about 40% of the books now are back to 11.5 on the Patriots, and the total went from 48 to 47. That too has crept up a little bit here on this, and on the total, so that's gone back up the other way. Once again, I don't know how, at this point, how you don't bet on New England, especially since their defense has gotten better. And as far as the total goes, I mentioned the other day, well, obviously it plays into the fact that their defense has been much stronger, and the fact that they are kicking, as I mentioned on Tuesday, quite a few field goals, the Patriots are. So I think that lends itself to maybe a lower scoring game. So that's everything, okay? That's all the picks. I don't even know how many that was, but it's plenty. I can tell you that. You go to the website, you can read more at VegasProInsidersDaily.com. You can read more on that. Plus, I have the latest betting trends and in the NFL. Those have been pretty good on the sides, 23-16 on the season. So there's 3 of those that you can also take a look at to peruse over. So, hey, Doug Upstone here for Vegas Pro Insider Daily. I'd like you to become an Inner Circle member if that's what you choose to do. Otherwise, we will see you next week and be ready to rock once again. So let's kick some butt in the football weekend. Right now, I am out.